Hey man,
Hey man, Shaw, how are you, man?
good man. With you?
I am so glad we're finally be able to do this. We had some
Yeah,
logistical issues, right?
yeah.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
I'm good. I want to congratulate you, man. Eighth album, right? By night, soon to be released. I
Yeah.
gotta say, it's a very bold direction for the album you guys took with the new record. And I wanted to ask you, what do you think the fans will be surprised about on this particular album?
Uh, Actually, I really don't know because uh, we tend to take risk from album to album. I mean, each time we're trying to not repeat the same recipe from album to album and evolve in some way. So I know that our uh, oldest fan base are used to this,
Hmm.
so they expect us to change something on Beyond by Night, and for all people that will discover us with By Night, I mean, they probably don't know we did before, so they will discover us just like we are on By Night. So yeah, but of course, I think then the logical ones that, of course, when you release an album, you lose some fan, you gain some other. That's part of the game. You know what I mean?
I gotta say, I 100% agree with you when you said you guys switch it up because I'm a new fan. I discovered you guys from YouTube, people recommending to check your stuff out with the new singles, and I kind of started doing my due diligence of going back into your older albums. I went through five at the moment. I haven't
All
gone through
right.
the whole discography, and I really love Black Nova. I thought Poseidon was fantastic. I was really got into the band and kind of what you guys were all about, and kind of the whole groove metal thing. I mean, there's a lot of elements you just kind of taken from every direction that I really enjoyed about you guys.
Thank you very much. Since the very beginning of our career, we really wanted to do and offer whatever we like in music. I mean, when we write music, it's very to to play the music we want to listen and that we don't listen from other band. And then if this please to other, then it's fine.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
if not, it's no problem because we're happy to play that music. And so that's why we don't repeat the same recipe over and over again. And that's why, because we are musicians, we love all kind of music. We pick here and there some influences, not especially into metal,
Mm-hmm.
but from really everywhere. And we try to arrange all this in our music and offer something interesting.
And you know what I've heard? I mean, personally, the kind of things I've heard in this album is I even heard throughout your kind of career, I've heard some Daft Punk in there. I've heard some like some Fear Factory, Lamb of God, Demo Burger. That it's really true to that kind of how to do, especially the way you utilize keyboards, whether it be synthesizer or something that's more symphonic, kind of epic. I am really the first thing I gravitated towards was the groovy riffs. It was just so easy for me to get into and kind of start listening to it, and it kind of grabs your attention very much. Was that a from the beginning of the inception of the band? Do you think it was a more conscious choice that what you guys set out to do, or you just kind of evolved into it?
Hmm. To be honest, I would say that I'm a huge I'm the main composer of the music, so I can talk about
Mm-hmm.
composing. Uh, I'm a huge fan of Pantera. I
Uh,
mean, for for forever, you know. And so, I mean, maybe it's logical that my way of composing riff are groovy because of Dimebag Darrell, of course.
mm-hmm.
And but yeah, what I mean, I really appreciate uh, technical music, even progressive music. I
Mm-hmm.
like symphonics. I like Lamb of God. I like yeah, Dream Theater. I mean, I like all those very technical guys. But what I really enjoy in music is when you have the good riff and you have just 100% pleasure to play it on stage. You don't have to think about, hey, wow, I should put my finger here and there. No, I
Yeah,
like
yeah.
when you grab your guitar and you can headbang at the same time and everybody got fun. And that's the way I like riffing.
Riffing, yeah, yeah.
And I think you can propose complicated or uh, some technical music, but on harmony. I mean, for example, in Dagoba, we are not the fastest band in the world. We
Mm-hmm.
are not the most technical band in the world, but there's a lot of layers: guitar, bass, violins, piano, synths, cellos, and everything. And all this make something maybe a bit complicated, but technically, I like to have fun while playing music.
I agree with that. It does have a lot of layering. It's like
Yeah,
the sum of the parts come together, and that's what forms Dagoba as a band. And that's what's pleasing to the ear. Like I'm sure you could listen to other bands. People listen to Meshuggah. Oh my God, the drummer is amazing. They'll pick little things out. For me, it was just a culmination of all of it. I think that really came together that I really liked. And you kind of mentioned a little bit. I kind of started, trying to find out a little bit more about. You've mentioned Hetfield and Dimebag being your two favorite guitarists.
yeah.
What is it? What was it about these guys and their styles that really attracted you to them, and you really just enjoyed their playing?
Uh, I had the chance to play with Metallica. I mean, as an opening act, of course. So I had the chance to watch James Hetfield
Right.
playing. Dude, this guy is unreal. He's a monster. He's so tight and so fast and so powerful. It's incredible. The stamina you need to play just one song, for example, Blackened or
Mm-hmm.
And Justice for All. The stamina and the power you need just to play this one song without singing at the same time, it's incredible. And he's doing this for his entire life for 3 hours, 4 hours in a row. It is incredible. Uh,
I always found
and
him to be one of the best rhythm guitarists,
oh
James
yes,
Hetfield, and people don't give him enough credit how good he is.
yeah, is God, is God Reefer.
I agree.
And yeah, and Dimebag Darrell because uh, yeah, uh, he can. I like the way he can make his a guitar sound. I mean, you give him even a piece of wood and a shitty hams, you will notice that it's Dimebag
It's
playing.
Dimebag, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
and
very unique to his
yeah,
style.
it's very unique, and I also really appreciate his solo guitar. I mean, it's never boring or it's never technical just to be technical. It has a purpose on harmony and on yeah. It serves every single track where he plays solo, and that's what I like.
I agree with that. Yeah, yeah. And I of course I'm a big nerd when it comes to anything popular media. You already know where I'm going with this. Dagobah, man. It's like why the name Dagobah? It's like I love Star Wars, but it's like I'm
Yeah,
like Dagobah.
yeah. Of course, we love Star Wars, but at the very beginning, I mean, we were it we found this name 25 or 26 years away. We
Yeah,
were
yeah.
just like we were just like fan of Pantera, Metallica, Sepultura, and all that 90s, 80s
Right.
heavy metal bands ending by an A.
Mm-hmm.
Pantera, Metallica, Sepultura, and we were looking for a short name so the crowd could sing along the name.
Chant it along, right?
And because we are fan of Star Wars, Dagoba was good. And plus, for now, uh, people are telling us that you have a lot of metal band with a name from Lord of the Ring or other saga, but not that much from
Star
Star
Wars.
Wars.
There
Yeah,
isn't.
which is strange actually.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna hope for in the future one day, perhaps you'll make a Star Wars song, and I'll be there for it, man.
I hope so. I hope so.
On that case, I'll ask a question that has nothing to do with music. Are you enjoying Boba Fett at all, or you're too busy to even get into stuff like that right now?
To be honest, I just finished the Mandalorian
Okay,
season 2, and I don't want to start Boba Fett because I like to watch all in a row. I don't like
gotcha,
to
gotcha.
wait. I don't like to wait for episodes, so I'm waiting for some weeks and I will start.
I had to ask you, man. As a nerd, that question had to be in there, no matter how big of a metalhead I am. And I have to say, with the band, I noticed some of the things you said in interviews, and obviously, kind of what I've heard in my ear is the sudden changes of the band in each album, of kind of the different things you try to do with each album. And I would say with this new album, you really embrace a different side of the band, especially with the songs like "On the Run." You have a lot more clean singing on the album. I got a chance to already listen to it. There's a lot more clean singing on the album. And I think you'll bring a lot of new fans to this band because it brings it in a different light. For example, I don't know why I've never heard of you guys here in the States. And I'm like hardcore metalhead. I'm like, how come I've never heard of this band? Because this is right up my alley. What was the thing here? But is it ever nerve wracking for you, or if there's some kind of fear of reactions that you might get from fans, or that they're just like absolutely going to hate something or not agree with some of the choices you do?
No, no, because I mean, as I told you, I really compose the music I want to play and I want to
Yeah,
listen to. So if people enjoy it, it's fine for me.
perfect, perfect.
If they
Yeah.
don't, okay, they will find some other band to be
To
fan
listen.
of. Yeah. And concerning clean vocal, I mean, if you noticed and listened to our 5 or 6 previous album,
It's always
we,
been there.
I, yeah, it's always been there. And for example, we were talking about Metallica.
Hmm.
Uh, did you notice that James Hetfield never growl in his entire career? He sing. He's singing. You can
Yeah.
sing. Blacken is the end. With the
Yeah.
name end every time. So I'm okay with almost clean singing or melody in vocal. I just like it.
You know what it is for me? When I was listening to this album, I had comparisons of a lot of people would consider controversial albums, like Cryptic Writings from Megadeth or Creators, Endorama, and Outcast. I like all those albums, to be honest. For as a matter of fact, I became a fan of Creator after Endorama.
All right.
It's like, you know what, I even if, let's say, there's something in the album I didn't agree with, what I can say to you personally is I really respected the place you came from, because I felt it without reading any article that this is genuinely what you wanted to make. You know, it's like there's a difference when you hear somebody is like, oh, we got to do this because this is commercial and this will sell, versus I want to do this. This is my
Yeah.
creative output and this is how I want to put it out. And I felt it throughout the album. And I the whole time was like, I got the wavelength, and I totally like where this is coming from.
Thank you very much. That's our philosophy as a band. We
And
just
I
we're just doing what we want to do.
do what you want to do. And you
Yeah.
know, your touring partners, you're about to begin the tour, right? I think it's on the 16th
Yeah.
in Europe. Hopefully, you guys will come to the United States as well.
Yeah, we're
Uh,
working hard on it. I mean, we already toured in the US
mhm.
several time, and but it's been a while now, and we really want and really need to get back there because once you toured in the US, you want to get back there because I mean it's the land of metal, you know. It's you you, you yeah. When you
It's lacking in New York sometimes. You know, to be honest, I'm like a crackhead just waiting for a new show to come on just so I could see a new band. Sometimes New York can be a little bit scarce.
yeah,
And we don't have festivals, we don't have big shows. It's very intimate. We get to see you guys very up close, which is really cool.
okay, yeah, but I mean we are working hard on the US tour.
I
To be
wish you
honest,
luck with that, guys.
yeah, to be honest, we had a good proposal for May,
Hmm.
but it was too short to prepare it well. But some proposal are coming on our desk, and we are looking for them.
And what I wanted to ask you too is about actually touring partners in Europe is going to be Infected Rain. And
Yeah.
I got a chance to speak with Lena, and she said something interesting in the interview. She said when I was telling how some people might look weird on the band's formula, the kind of what they've created. She's like, I don't believe a pure style of metal exists anymore. Bands just kind of put fusion of different elements that they enjoy now. There's no such thing as a pure thrash or pure death metal band. It's a fusion of things. And the reason I bring this kind of point to you, I think it very much relates to Dagoba. It's not just one thing. Do you believe that this to be the case now, that there is no, it's become very blended and become like this kind of a melting pot of different ideas in heavy metal? Or is just, you still believe in these, like, I mean, this old school bands, like black metal bands that keep doing the same thing for 20 years. But I'm seeing in the last 15 years, bands have really kind of incorporated a lot of elements.
Yeah, of course. And I think it's a good thing, because we all could have get bored if we if all fans just like the same thing and bands propose the same thing for forever. It's a it's a sad world, I think. If so, yeah. As artists, we have to uh, pick influences both from other artists, but also from our feeling, the world, the situation, and bring it into our record.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, but I think what is good, what is also good is that when nowadays you have like for example a pure trash album that came out, now it become a bit uncommon. So it's
Yeah,
cool,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
Everything is becoming interesting at the end.
It comes a full circle, you kind of, you know?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Because I'm a big thrash metal fan. I grew up on 80s Bay Area thrash.
All
And
right.
to get a new good record is like, oh my God, there's a new band. And in general, I think, like, how do you feel about the whole environment? Because I've asked multiple people about this and I've gotten very different answers. For example, I asked Iced Earth's Matt Barlow about the idea of that music now, people don't consume a full album, they consume singles, right? They don't buy an album physically, they buy it digitally. Or if not, they buy it at all, they just stream it. And obviously that's hard on your pockets and you guys are not able to just earn as much. Kind of what is your overall opinion of this environment? Do you think overall it's a good thing or it's been just tough?
Uh, to be honest, I hate the world since internet. Maybe that's answer you for this whole question.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, I think it ruined everything. But since it's there now, people, of course, consume music.
Music.
Yeah, single by single, and it's a pity because, for example, when an artist want to compose a concept album,
Mm-hmm.
a whole universe, if you only listen to one single, the first one or the third one, and don't listen to the rest, it's just like if you're watching a movie and see the intro and not the end of the movie. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
you're.
yeah.
I think it's a bit. It's a bit. Yeah, it's. I
Sad.
don't think it's so good. You know, it's like if you are going onto a museum and you're watching that part of the whole paint. You know, and yeah, yeah. But it is what it is, and yeah. Uh,
It's like a two-sided
yeah,
coin, right? The exposure is there. People see you more and discover you easier. But from the perspective of, because people forget how difficult for a lot of bands is, right? A lot of people work regular jobs for a very long time until they can make it a living just from music.
yeah,
A lot of people just do it for the love of it because they never earn money on music.
yeah.
And for me personally, the one thing I'll always appreciate about my parents coming from an older generation, I'm a little bit maybe younger than you, is the idea of when you listen to an album, listen to it from beginning to the end. That's what the artist intended, at least one time. You know,
Yeah.
give it that respect, and then you can do whatever you want afterwards.
I don't have the answer, but maybe you have it, and maybe we could both of us work on it after this interview.
Mm-hmm.
But for example, how back in the day, I mean, before internet,
Mm-hmm.
how many metal bands in the world were doing this for a living, for example?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
now that people say, yeah, internet give you best exposure. Do you think that there is 2, 3, 4 times more bands that are making metal for a living? I don't think so.
Mm.
So yes, we have more music, but we are not making this for a living.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know
yeah.
what I mean?
I know what you mean. Yeah, yeah.
For example, 2 or 3 days ago, I read this statistic. Do you know how many metal album or considered as metal album were released on 2021?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably maybe a couple hundred in comparison to pop, which would be in the thousands.
Couple of hundred, 28,000.
Holy shit.
20, yes,
Holy shit. The competition's
20,
crazy.
28,000 metal
Oh
album
my God.
last year. So yes, you have exposure. Everybody got his single on Spotify, but
Yeah, yeah. It's hard to get noticed, from the crowd. Yeah, yeah, I know what
yeah,
you mean.
yeah, exactly.
And
So yeah,
I know what you mean. It's like it's a double-edged sword.
yeah.
And also the question, this actually comes from a fan, but as I started doing a little bit of research, you kind of answered this question about On the Run. It's about the vocalist, the female vocalist there that, she's kind of keeping a little bit anonymous. She doesn't really
Yeah.
want to, and you guys also don't want to use her fame. But I wanted to twist the question a little bit and almost still kind of ask the question is the idea, what made it necessary for you to make that collaboration? What means like this is going to be the thing to do?
Uh, 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 the easiest answer. When I composed the piano line,
Mm-hmm.
I tried to sing with my tune on it, and it was too low, and it made the old sound a little bit crooner or Depeche Mode style. Oh, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I wanted to sing it higher, But if I use my voice, it was ridiculous. So I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
like, hey, maybe we should try a female vocal and make it sound interesting. And then we tried that way, and yes, it turned to something interesting. Plus original for Dagoba because we never did it before. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the only. It was because musically we find it interesting.
And it seems very organic, which is awesome.
Yeah. So
And
I mean, she's not a singer. She's a real singer. That's why it's organic, maybe.
yeah, yeah, of course, of course. And after the creating the music process, I know I've got a chance to talk from Tomas from Dawn of Solace and Wolfheart. This guy's a beast. He finishes an album, he wants to start working on a new one. You talk to another person, and they're like, no, I need a little bit of a break to get the creative juices flowing. How has it been for you? Do you like to take a break a little bit from the writing process, or you like jumping back in right into it?
No. I will jump back into composition. The 19th of February. The release of By Night is the 18th. I will jump back on the 90th.
Yeah.
It's not because I don't need a break, but the break is now. I mean, I finished the composition of By Night 1 year or 1 year and a half ago. So
Mm-hmm.
I had my break. It's okay.
Yeah, you break. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I feel like like the promotional part, the whole stress of the album coming out. I'm sure there's a lot of stress going on. It could be very taxing for a musician.
Yeah.
I would only imagine so. So there's a lot of people do it in very different ways, and people don't realize pop music, they can release a fucking album every year. Rock music and music that involves instruments takes much longer time to compose the music and make it varied. You're not buying beats or buying music from somebody else. People forget
Yeah.
that.
And I think also because on metal and rock, the touring part is longer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, in pop, they tour maybe 6 months to 1 year. They are making stadium or TV show or showcases. For rock and metal, you have to tour for 1 year, 2 years,
1 year.
maybe 3 years. So that's why you can't release an album. So that's
That
often.
quickly.
Yeah, that quickly. Yes, I think so.
And especially when you go into more niche, extreme genres, you'll sometimes see like 5, 10 years between albums.
Yeah.
And when you get a new one, you get super excited. And
Yeah.
the last question I want to ask you, and that's my favorite question to been asking from people, is what's your most proudest moment as a musician you had of all time that you would say so far? I'm sure there's more mountains to climb after, but so far.
Okay, because you were. Wait a second.
Sure, sure, no problem.
Yeah. You told me that you told me that you're a
A
geek
nerd.
or a nerd. I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah. For two of our album, actually, Face the Colossus and Poseidon,
Mm-hmm.
we had the chance to work with Cecil Kim, which is the lead designer of Final Fantasy 7, 9, and God of War. And yeah, and I was like, yeah, I handed God of War 2, and I was like, I need that guy to work on our artwork.
Yeah.
And I start chatting with him, and he was like, yeah, my dream was always to work on our heavy metal album also.
Mm-hmm.
And so he did this first album, Face the Colossus, and then Poseidon. One day, when I mix Postmortem Nihilist, so our fifth album,
Mm-hmm.
I spent a month in LA, and I start to get in touch with this guy Cecil Kim because he was in LA, and I say, hey
Mm-hmm.
man, I'm in LA for a month. We need to meet each other because it was like online work for the artwork and everything. He said,
Yeah.
yeah man, good. Uh, I left the Santa Monica studio, which was working on God of War. He said, I now own my own studio in downtown LA, and you have to come and visit my building. I said, yeah, okay. I jumped in my car and went to this building,
Mm-hmm.
and there were like a ton of engineer, guy, designer working and everything. And it was like, hey man, and at the time he told me, hey show man, could you come just by yourself on my office?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I said
yeah.
yes. And on his office, you know, he's a Korean, so he really like just like nothing on the office, you know, like
Very
just a
clean.
pen, yeah, very clean. And there were only one thing on his wall, and it was this: a
Oh man.
face the Colossus box on which it worked, you know. And he was
Yeah.
like, man, and he gave me a golden pen, and he said, I was waiting for you to come for almost 10 years just for you to sign it.
Oh
And
my God.
yes, and that's I think one of the most beautiful story I have with Dagoba. I think that's why I'm
That
very proud of.
that's a beautiful moment. I 100% agree with you, man.
Yeah,
And it's just become so mishmashed everything, right? We love everything. We consume all these kinds of things. And I'm Russian myself, came from Russia 25
yeah.
years ago to New York. And we like toasts. We love toast. As I understand, French people like toast as well. So I toast to you, let this year be the best year for Dagobah.
Thank you very
And
much.
let you guys grow bigger than ever. I think more people should be checking you out. Uh,
You know what we played in Russia actually.
you played in Russia?
Yes, and I have funny story for people when they ask me that kind of question. Hey, what's the most beautiful place you've been and everything? I only have this answer. For example, I say yes. When we are playing in Tokyo or Japan, we
Mhm.
know what we are going to find in Tokyo: technology, tradition, good food, and everything.
Mhm.
When we are playing in LA or New York, we know what we are going to find. Everybody I've seen on movie about LA or about New York. So it's an incredible journey, incredible travel, but we some kind know what we are going to find. But
Yeah.
when we were going to St. Petersburg and Moscow, we didn't know because in Europe people are like Russia. Mm, with you have no you have no you have
Yeah.
always the bad guy. It's always the bad guy in the movie.
We don't have a
So
good reputation. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So we're like, and when I went there, I was like, man, Moscow, it's New York. It's huge. It's incredible. It's
Yeah.
technological. It's insane. And that's what I like in touring. It's when I don't expect nothing, and I have my butt kicked by the place. And
And they're
Russia.
hardcore fans, hardcore metal
Oh,
fans.
oh
Oh
yes.
my God, because we don't have enough of it. Like, for example, I follow the Russian scene. There's not a lot going on there. There's very few bands, Slaughter to Prevail, Old
Yeah,
School Aria, and a couple other bands, but it hasn't grown much because
yeah,
mainly of the Russian regime with Putin and everything like that. So it's still growing, but they love it. The
yeah.
concert, I think, in 1992 with Pantera, Metallica, AC/DC, that one
91,
91,
91.
91. So they
Monsters of Rock.
most of 1.7 million people came to that
Yeah.
concert. It's just like that's how big of fans we are.
Oh
And
yeah.
that I kind of wanted to show you that love for music and appreciation. And we support. I try to support by going to concerts, getting T-shirts, and all that kind of stuff. So again, I wish you guys the absolute best.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, man.
Take care.